is someone who has spent more than 40 years involved in health-related issues to tobacco and public health in general. Scott Ballin, thank you so much for coming on to KMOX.
My pleasure.
So I wanted to talk a little bit about what we've seen, some rising trends in some certain tobacco products. You see these vape shops pop up a lot. You've also seen some other trends from overseas find their way over here. And I wanted to talk to you about some of those things. And there was a study published in the Journal of Addictive Behaviors. Have you seen that one?
Probably. I sort through a lot of stuff every single day.
Yeah. So you see probably a lot of products then, too. And one of these things I saw brought up was snus, which is a sweet snus.
Yes,
there should be like an umlaut over it or something.
Yeah,
snus.
It's a Scandinavian product.
Right. Are you starting to see more alternative products pop up here in the United States?
Yes, and I think we need more of it because one of the problems that we have in this country is that we have been so focused on tobacco issues in general, and we tend to regard all tobacco products and nicotine products as being equally harmful. And people do not understand that what is killing 480,000 Americans every single year is the fact that these products are smoked. It's the combustion and the smoke that goes into the lungs that causes the disease. I get very frustrated when people say it's the nicotine that causes cancer or heart disease. Nicotine has its issues. It is addictive, but it's not the cause of disease and death in this country. Swedish snus, which has been around for a very long time, and many in public health have said that it is 95% lower in risk than a cigarette, the deadly cigarette. And yet most Americans don't understand the relative risks of the various products that are out there today, including e-cigarettes. That's a big debate these days. As I'm sure you're aware, it's in the papers on a daily basis now. We need to sort out the risks and relative risks of these various products and to let the American public know. As I said, 480,000 deaths every year, costing this country $300 billion in healthcare costs and low productivity because of smoking. Smoking is the real substantive problem in this country.
Mm-hmm. But don't you think sometimes the risks are downplayed? So when you see other things pop up, like the vaping, for example, and they look at it as an alternative, but it seems like build themselves as if there's no risks to something like that because there hasn't been enough studies on it.
Yeah, there are. Everything in our society that we put into our bodies has risk. I mean, look at our food, the foods we eat. We have a real obesity problem in this country that's causing heart disease, cancer, diabetes, from cholesterol, sodium, you name it, it's part of it. And we need to begin to focus on that as well. The same is the problem with tobacco. And I think we need to begin, and the FDA is trying, but not doing the job sufficiently to sort out the relative risks of these products. You know, if everybody switched who is smoking today, that's 30 million smokers, switch to a non-combustible product such as a Swedish snus or something like that, or the patches or gums that are could be developed to be more effective, we would reduce the amount of disease and death in this country by a significant amount. Mm-hmm. But we're not focused on that. I ask people, when I meet them, individuals, what they think about what's killing them or what tobacco is about, and they think all these products are equally harmful. Far from that. And we need to do a better job of educating the public about these relative risks and the products that are out there. They do need to be regulated by the FDA. There's no question. And there is a concern about the use of vaping products by kids.
Right.
But we got to make sure that the adult smoker understands what the products that they could actually use to wean themselves off that deadly combustible product could mean to their health. And we need to do a better job of that.
Joining us now is Scott Ballin. He's a health policy consultant. He also looks at issues regarding tobacco and public health in general. And you talked about the age, and we've seen a lot of teenagers, high school, whatnot, find their way into using some of these products as they become more popular here in the United States. Do you think there needs to be more regulation when it comes to a certain age and sometimes the way that they market some of these products? For example, cotton candy flavored or grape flavored, where it seems like they're directly targeting minors. And do you think there needs to be more regulation in that sense?
Yes, I do. we have to be very careful about throwing the baby out with the bathwater, as they say, because these e-cigarette products can actually help addicted cigarette smokers. However, there are a lot of bad actors out there who are selling these products to and marketing these products to kids.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be that way, and FDA does need to set some rules out.
We also look at the trends that are happening in the United States when it comes to the smoking rate. A lot of times people say the best thing you can do is educate people when it comes to smoking, and you see over time the people who are smoking seem to decline, and we've seen that a lot through the last couple of decades. So what do you attribute to maybe some of these other alternative forms coming into the picture? Do you think they've contributed to the trend of people stopping smoking as well?
Well, I think that we've done a good job of trying to educate people about the risks of smoking, and we've seen this decline. But as I said before, we have 30 million smokers in this country that are costing the society a lot of money. They need our assistance as well. So we've done everything we can with a lot of different programs and activities, cessation programs, trying to put them on the patches and the gums, etc. But I think that's not enough. We still have 14% of the population smoking, and if we can give them products that are 95% lower in risk than the deadly cigarette, that will help wean them off. I mean, they need a product that's consumer acceptable, that gives them their nicotine fix while they try to get away from all nicotine products. And we're not doing a good enough job on that. Now, Commissioner Gottlieb at the FDA has said he wants to deal with the youth issue, but he also wants to deal with the issue of providing adult consumers with alternative products, but they've been slow in making it happen. As I said, I talk to a lot of people who I see smoking, and I ask them these questions, and they are more today than they've ever been with respect to what products they can use or shouldn't use or help them get off a deadly cigarette.
Yeah.
But we need to be providing them with truthful and accurate information, the public and the smokers, about what this could mean to getting them off a deadly cigarette. Their health is at stake. They're the ones that are dying prematurely from cigarette smoking.
I've seen some people argue that the restrictive nature of some of these alternative products, they restrict it just like they do smoking when it comes to restaurants and workplaces, things like that. Other people are trying to argue that you should allow it inside of these other commercial like your workplace or for example, because they say, the vaping, it's not like the smoking, so I should be able to do that indoors. You should be able to encourage me to do that. Do you have any comments or thoughts about when it comes to maybe the secondhand accounts of some of these things, and if you think we should maybe relax in the workplace or allow some of these things in the workplace?
Yeah, I think we should relax some of this stuff because the evidence suggests that these products, and even those who are opposed to e-cigarettes, acknowledge that these products are much lower in risk than cigarettes. However, I will, say that we do need more research. There's this tendency to think that all of the e-cigarettes out there are equally safe or whatever. And I think there's a big spectrum of products out there that aren't necessarily safer than certain things. So we need to set some product standards. FDA needs to do that.
Well, if people want to become more educated on this, or if you want to direct them in a certain way to go check out some of the things that you're looking at or some of the things you're doing, where should they go?
Well, they need to look at the FDA websites to see what's going on with the agency, look at some of the commissioner's comments about what they vision as a new nicotine policy in this country, but they're struggling with getting that implemented. There's so much stuff going on, and there's so much rhetoric going on, but that's a good place to start.
Okay.
Because I think that the FDA wants to ensure that no kids are enticed into using any tobacco or nicotine products, but at the same time, they're also saying that these 30 million addicted American smokers need these alternatives.
Yeah. And if people want to check out what you're doing, is there any place they can find you?
Well, I'm independent. I worked at the Heart Association for a long time,
Yeah.
and I have been working in these issues for a long time. And the best thing I've been able to do, there is a website of some stuff that I've written. It's called tobaccoatacrossroads.com.
Okay, tobaccoatacrossroads.com. Perfect.
Yeah, so that will sort of give a historical perspective of how this whole concept of harm reduction and getting products out there for people to use can help save lives.
Great. Health policy consultant Scott Ballin, thank you so much for joining us here on KMOX.
Yes, my pleasure.